The following announcement has been paid for by Wild Games Productions.
Hi, this is Malcolm and
Karen
from House Atreides, and you're listening to Roll for Initiative.
My fellow Americans.
This is Max Headroom, and what you're about to witness is one of the most sinister-sounding intros to a trailer.
Little roller up along first, behind the bag, it gets through Buckner, here comes Knight, and the Mets win it!
This is the Roll for Initiative podcast, where 1E is the place to be.
Roll for Initiative podcast. This is Volume 6, Issue 178. Vince sitting alongside Nick.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
And special guest this week coming in for some cross-promotion, DM Glenn of Thacko's Hammer.
Take one.
Hey.
Yeah, I had to get the clapboard in there. Hiya, folks.
There you go. Glenn, how you doing, buddy?
It's the big mouth back again. Oh, I'm doing okay. I've been sitting here trying to do up my list for North Texas RPG Con, stuff I have to take and all that stuff. And the Sharpies are ready for autographs, and you know, I got my games all my ducks are getting in a row. How about you?
Well, we're getting ready for the same convention. We'll be hanging out and playing some games, doing some podcasting, you know, the yada, 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 yada.
When is North Texas RPG Con, by the way?
When this goes out, this show will go out by Tuesday. North Texas is 3 days later.
Well, that's pretty
so
good.
It is this coming weekend. Okay.
Yeah, it's the first weekend of June.
Yeah. That's pretty. You know, that's a better. If I said that on Thacko's Hammer, it's like, oh, they're going to hear this 4 months out.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you guys record a little bit ahead of time, and it's just like, you know, it's like June. It's like, hey, happy Halloween, everybody. What?
Yeah, we've got quite a buffer.
Quite a backlog.
One of the shows you had, Corey was like, oh, everybody, I hope everybody's having a great Christmas. I'm like, Corey, it's like March. What the hell?
Yeah. Every time I have a special thing, I want to promote somebody or something. It's like I got to think, well, is it going to be like 2 months over by the time this comes out?
Yeah, you guys kind of save your episodes up on Thacko's Hammer and then release them all with a big bang and like a cannon shot, it seems like.
Well,
like a hammer hit.
Yeah, my hammer hit. I'm kind of glad we do, because that way we can compensate for like one or two of us or none of us being there. Like, I know this summer I'm going to be traveling a lot.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm going to be catch as catch can on the show. And
right.
It's like, it's a good thing. Okay, we got a 4-episode backlog. Okay, no problem, you know. Or I give them permission. I gave them permission. Do shows without me. I'll resent it later, but do shows without me.
Well, we did that on, back when you and I were on Save or Die together. We did that for quite a while. We had like 4, 5, 6 shows up in the can.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and with rotating hosts.
Yeah, remember we had the A team and the B team.
Yeah, the A team and the B team. I wish we could get Julie back.
Oh yeah, Julie. Was it
Julie and Crispy? Yeah.
Crispy.
Crispy on Thacko's Hammer. He loved doing Thacko's Hammer. I remember
unfortunately, we got reviews that people used to vomit every time Crispy came on RFI.
That became a running gag for a while.
Because he was vomiting on the show. No.
Seriously, people wrote in and were like, every time I hear Crispy on the show, I want to vomit. I'm like, whoa.
Come on.
Yeah, he's such a nice guy.
He is.
We had so much fun with him on the show. You mentioned Crip thing to like Corey, and he will just start laughing.
Why?
Well, we did an episode on the Crip thing. And of course, the first thing after Brian does the stats, the first thing out of my mouth is, where would you find this monster?
Yeah, really.
And both Corey and Crispy jumped on me. Well, I don't know, a crypt? and you know why? And then, Corey goes, no, wait a minute. Holy, that's an idea. put it in crypt, and they just did like 5 minutes on that.
Oh my
Riffing
God.
on that, huh?
Yeah, riffing on that, and that was probably one of the funniest shows we ever did. So yeah, Crispy's all right in my book.
Oh, I like Crispy. He's a great guy. Great improv guy. Great voice guy. I like him a lot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he is. He's a wonderful guy.
Yeah, you get everybody to crack up on my show. Have him do Arnie.
One thing I do miss is his podcast, Critical Wits.
Oh yeah.
When he used to take the spaces and like what was that he took out of them, Glenn?
He went through. I think he had something on there where you can take pauses out.
And it was just like this to show everything. I was like it was on crack the entire show.
Yes.
It's crazy.
I never thought to do that. Thank you. We could condense a 2.5 hour show into 30 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah, Crispy figured the format out.
Yeah.
Just sound like you're on crack.
So that's nice. What have you been doing, Nick?
A weasel on crack. Let's see. What was it? Last week we played Aces and Eights Western role playing game.
How is that? I've heard good things.
It's fun, you know. If you want something for a change of pace, and if you dig the Western genre in one form or another, I always liked it from the angle of the spaghetti westerns. You know, you ever seen like the original Django series or the Man with No Name series by Sergio Leone?
All the Sergio Leone stuff.
I love that stuff, but my friend Frank
Once
wanted
upon
to do.
a time in an RPG.
Yeah, he wanted to do like a mini campaign for just this summer, so we're like, yeah, sure, what the heck, we'll do it. And I made up. Let's see, my character is. We're a bunch of oddballs. Nobody picked anybody who's like regular. We got one guy who's English. My character's German. We got one woman and one guy who's mixed Asian and African American. So we're all a mess, but it's been pretty fun so far. Really enjoying it. So
That's good. I saw. Oh, go ahead. What?
The coolest thing about the game, at least in my opinion, is the backstory, the history, how the West could have been, and where history diverged. It's basically history.
Oh, is this one of those?
Yeah.
Oh, is this one of those what if Western?
Well, yeah.
In a sense, it doesn't go off to anything like crazy weird, like zombies and stuff like that. But where history diverged in U.S. history was when Aaron Burr had his duel, and in this one, Aaron Burr won.
Well,
and that's where the whole history diverged.
That's funny. It seems like they like to do that with the westerns. They did the same thing with the Deadlands.
I mean, Deadlands. Okay, I'm buying for Deadlands. Okay, but when it gets into like Deadlands Noir. Or Deadlands Hell on Earth. What do you mean this country's still separate? Come on.
Yeah.
Well, they in Deadlands they decided that the South won the war and they just kept the split, and that's how and then all of a sudden supernatural stuff started happening. I was like, all right.
Yeah, and this one, the CSA is still around. It's not as big as it is. Texas never got absorbed to the Union. They're their own republic.
Of course.
Just like Deadlands, yeah.
Yeah.
And out west in the Utah area, the Mormons, they're trying to eke out their own country.
Yeah, and then California still belongs to Mexico or something?
Actually, California is split in half. Part of it's Mexico, part of it's the Union. And New Orleans is still French. That whole little area around New Orleans, around the Louisiana Delta, that's still French.
I've got the Deadlands Noir books for Savage Worlds. I think the Deadlands Noir, the first book, it has like the system for Savage Worlds, but it also gives you the setting, which is set in New Orleans, which I thought that's unusual. Okay, that's cool. I thought they put it in like Chicago or New York or something. Even
the Native Americans have their own country of Sequoia, which is modern day Oklahoma in this. So it's pretty cool though. It's really fun. So and other than that, just gearing up to go to Origins in a couple of weeks. Can't wait.
Yay! Last year they ran the same time as North Texas, and it's like, how are we going to get anybody? We had a fine con, but I kept going, how are we going to get anybody here if it's Origins is the same weekend? I saw a blog that had a Western role-playing game that guy was working on, and he put it up on his blog. I can't remember the name of the blog, but I do remember the name of the system. He called it Bring Out Your Coffins, Zapata and Django are in town.
Oh, I would
That's
love
the
it
name?
already.
And it's like just for the title alone.
Yes. Yes. I love the Zapata westerns. Those are really cool.
Sabata. That's it.
Yeah.
Sabata.
Yeah.
That's Lee Van Cleef, right? Yeah.
That's the actual name of the book.
Yeah. Well, it's on his blog. He hasn't published yet. But he said, "Well, here's the basics for the stuff," and it looked pretty interesting.
It's hard to emulate a good Western in RPGs because everybody, I find that everybody, when you do a Western, they're always like, well, it's a bullet, and in real life, a bullet kills a gun, and it's just like you got to smack them and say this is not real life, it's a game.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, you wouldn't have like steampunk and stuff.
The most well-placed shot sometimes won't kill a person unless it's really well-placed. I mean, most of the time in the Westerns, they were running and shooting, unless it's like, and James Spawn, we were talking about this the other day. It's something we're going to be talking about James Spawn later, but James was telling me, he's like, yeah, even the well-placed shot while running was still going to wound somebody, not kill them. They may have a chance to kill them flat out, but of course that's the game. But the only person that's going to be really dead straight on will be in a duel or a showdown, because those are well-placed. Even the best gunfighter, would still miss sometimes.
Yeah, they could miss. I understand that because my Castles and Crusades worlds at Steampunk Clockwork. I got my character. The characters are running around with air rifles and air pistols, and the pirates they had steam cannons.
Yarr.
And it's like I just said flat out that you can't puncture armor with a shot, mainly because it's an air rifle and it's an air gun. It does less damage than a real gun.
All right.
Alrighty. So anyway, Nick, we have any stars this week?
Yes, we do. We have 1 star, one review, 5
You mean
stars.
besides me? Oh, okay. I thought you meant me. I'm sorry.
No, Peanut Gallery, be quiet.
Yes. But yeah, we have 1 review, 5 stars over there at iTunes. So remind everybody, you can head to iTunes, go to the search for Roll for Initiative in the iTunes store, and you could give us a review from there, or you can listen to downloaded episodes. So we have a 5-star review from Aju in the 612, which I looked up, which is in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, I believe. And they say, he says, great podcast, 5 stars. And says, I'm not much of a 1E player, but it's a very enjoyable listen. Lots of good ideas for any game system. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Aju in the 612. Well, we try.
And I can tell if you don't like 1E, you're probably going to like TE. So go listen to Thaco's Hammer too.
Oh, there
on iTunes.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. And Glenn, shameless. I mean, Shameless is my middle name. What can I say?
Glenn, how do we find Thaco's Hammer?
Where you find Thaco's Hammer at thacoshammer.info.
Awesome.
And iTunes.
That's
and
right.
If you want to write us, thacoshammer@gmail.com too. I'm sure you guys have a where they can write you.
RFIstaff@gmail.com. 570-865-4210 is our hotline.
Notice I'm not giving out the Thaco's Hammer number because I can never remember it. So,
just like when we were doing the podcast with Eric's blog, he used to always say Tankers Tavern at Blogspot. He used to tick him off when you did that.
Maybe that was one of the reasons. Okay, fine.
No. I do that as a running joke now when we do on the 5e show.
Yeah.
I'll say, and you can contact Eric by going to Tankers Tavern at Blogspot. He'll go, no! And start laughing hysterical. All right. Anyway, yeah. Oh, actually, Glenn, wasn't there a little plug you wanted to give to the gentleman who's doing Gangbusters?
Yes. Mark Hunt is turning out some incredible work for Gangbusters on Drive-Thru-RPG and RPG Now. And he is also preparing to do a 5th edition of Gangbusters.
Awesome.
Which is not out yet. The starter set you can get for about $35, maybe probably less on, I think it's on PDF, but you find some of the PDF stuff, like he came up with another town south of Lakefront City, and a couple of adventures. I'm going to be running his Gangbusters with his drafts of some of the stuff at the con.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to jump in that game, definitely.
Now we're talking
no pressure
like
from
the
me.
Old TSR Gangbusters.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yes, and they came out as a box set originally, the first edition, and then the second edition came out as just a book, but they called it third edition.
What?
Because, well, the thinking was because 3E was out at that time, and it's like, okay, we'll call this third edition too, which doesn't make any sense, but we're going to do it. So following that numbering, Mark's calling his fifth edition. So we're going to be skipping every other edition.
Ah, okay.
Oh, so they're going by the Windows Microsoft tradition now.
Pretty much.
Or Star Trek, because the odd
he's
number
also
ones.
He's also expanded the game to not just Prohibition, coppers, and robbers. He's trying to get into the more supernatural, mystical stuff.
Ooh.
Like, they have people, you remember like the swamis with the turbans and the guys who do seances and stuff like that and mystical things. And also he wants to get into like the hooded figure, like the Shadow or the Spy.
The Shadow.
So kind of going into a 20s, 30s pulp sort of thing.
A bit more pulp, but you can still do the prohibitionary gangsters and things like that, or even push it further out to like the 30s or 40s. After Prohibition. So he wants to expand it. And I always say him, I says, you're not going to get into Cthulhu, Art. Don't get into Cthulhu. Please don't get into it. He says, no. Because as far as I'm concerned, that's saturated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many games with Cthulhu variants out there.
At this point, yeah, you're right.
Which is... Oh, never mind.
Tell Mr. Hunt to give us an email. We'll be happy to have him on the show and review his stuff so we can be perfect for our show because it's during the same time era. So,
well, yeah, I mean, I can send you a few things. I know I bought a couple of his supplements. The starter kit is really nice. It only gives you one class, the private investigator, but it's enough to get you started.
Yeah.
It gives you an adventure, gives you the supplements he's done so far in actual hard copies. And I just go, because I got the original set, and I'm just going, I looked at the box online. It was $35. I go, oh, yeah, I've got that. I've got that. Oh, minis! I want the box.
Yeah, exactly. All right, you could probably find that by going to rpgnow.com and searching keyword gangbusters, I would assume.
Yes.
I know he doesn't actually have a website set up for it exactly yet because he's still trying to get his company name together, you told me.
He is. He's trying to call it Black Mask, so he's trying to figure out if that's usable as in what he's doing. And because he knows it's copyrighted for, like literary things and everything, but he's doing a game. I don't know. Maybe he has to pay him a butt full of money, just like Chaosium had to do with the Arkham House.
Yeah.
Who knows? Well. But he's going to have the book out by the end of the year. It's going to be a nice hardback. It looks like it's going to be digest size. At least that's what everybody's hoping. And it's about 200 pages, and it's looks like a well worth the money. End of plug.
I'm looking on. Let's see here on RPG Now. Looks like Icons has a Gangbusters too. I noticed.
Icons.
That's...
You mean Steve Kenson's Icons?
Ad Infinitum Adventures, I think it's called.
Ad Infinitum Adventures? I don't know anything about that.
Is Gangbusters the Blue Detective Agency beginner game the one you're talking? Yeah.
Yeah. The blue. What does it say? The blue.
The blue book.
Totally left my mind.
Oh, okay. It's $4.99 for the PDF, $9.99 for the soft cover, and $14.99 for the combination.
Yeah, he's got things out like Welcome to Rock Junction, which is the city he uses, like 40 miles down from Lakewood City. Think Detroit, that kind of thing.
Interesting.
And there's one called Joe's Diner out there that's pretty good. That gives you a place to to start your campaign.
Cool. All right, I'll have to send him an email and see if we can get him on the show.
Weird Tales and Paranormal Investigations of the Blue Book Detective Agency, a.k.a. Gangbusters.
Oh, wow, that does look cool.
Yeah, it does. We'll have to definitely talk to him on the show.
He's doing a bang-up job with it, too. Yeah, and he listens to me, which is nice.
I'm excited, too, because I actually loved that game younger, and a lot of people didn't like playing it, so I was kind of annoyed.
I never got to play it when it came out.
Aww.
Yeah, neither have I. Nobody I knew was interested in it.
If it wasn't D&D and it wasn't Champions, they didn't want to deal with it.
Wow.
I'm surprised they actually sat down and played Marvel once with me.
Shocked.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, let's head into our main segment of the show now, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, I remember back in the day a fella knew how to judge a fireball on the fly and how far the cleric could push the undead he turned. I tell you, with all these min-maxers and munchkins, metagame and power game, there's something missing that I'm here to learn you. Now sit down and crack your book while I commence to teach you some table manners.
So, this week we're going to sit down and kind of a little discussion here. We're all sitting down anyway, so. But
I'm not. I'm standing.
All right, Nick. We're gonna.
I'm laughing.
We recently got in our mailbox a copy of The Hero's Journey Fantasy Role Playing by James Spahn. It's compatible with Sword and Wizardry White Box and has some elements of first edition and second edition in it, Glenn. So maybe you might be able to review this on Thacos with the other boys. Might be good to hear their
I looked at
perspective.
it, but not that close, so I will have to relook at it and see if there's anything we can use.
Yeah, he said there was some elements of first and second in it, so it'd be good to hear what Full On has to say or what Corey has to say about it too.
I can get them copies and they can look at it.
And James will gladly send them the PDF if you just give him a holler. He'll probably just send it out for you. So okay, let's do first impressions, starting with Nick. Just first general impressions of the book, Nick.
First general impressions made me think back to when I was a kid first starting playing D&D, honestly.
Okay.
I love the cover.
Yeah.
And if anybody who's familiar with the works of Tolkien, that's like an homage to what would have been The Hobbit, that cover.
It's like the cover. Yeah, the cover, the sleeve.
Well, what a shock, because his name of his company is Barrel Rider Games, and you kind of have that, right? Yeah. All right, so Glenn, first impressions.
What he said, I thought it was really well produced. The cover just evokes that whole Tolkien-esque thing. I'm trying to pull it up while I'm talking, and yeah, that's like, it gets me in the mood right away.
Get you in the mood for what, lovemaking, Glenn? I mean, what are you in the mood for doing? I mean, come on now.
Anyway, no, it gets me in the mood to be in a fantasy world and play. It's like I look at the cover and go, all right, let's go. Pull out the dice and let's go.
Yep, exactly.
When I first saw the cover, the book and everything, I was like really staring at the front cover, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is really cool. Now, what the heck does this remind me of? It kind of reminds me of like the old, like, I don't know, like really late 70s 3D hex map type things for the adventures that they used to have, where like each like hex represented like 50 miles or something. You remember those colors, Nick, that they used to have?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Reminded me of that. And then I flip it over and there's a picture of a Gygax like Hobbit on the back or whatever.
Yes.
I that cracked me up. So.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I didn't get it until Nick mentioned it.
Oh, okay.
So it's like I went back and go, damn, he's right.
I'd pick up on those things. I'm pretty sharp.
Yeah, I know. My wife says, boy, for an actor, you're not very observant.
I know.
Thanks, honey.
The number one thing I could say about this book is that, James, I want to highlight this on page 7. It says rule number 1. The most important rule is that a referee always has the right to modify the rules. In fact, it's encouraged. There are gaps in the rules, holes which we didn't fill on purpose because much of the fun of old school, in quotes, gaming is making up the rules as you need them. He took the time to actually put that in the book so people who are not old school gamers or from the generation of old school gaming understand, well, why isn't there a rule for this? Well, why isn't there a rule for that? He explains right there, it's because you have to kind of bridge the gap and roll the dice how you see fit.
It's like we always said on the show, rulings, not rules.
Exactly.
Yes. That's coming back. I noticed like Tunnels and Trolls Deluxe put the same thing in there, and a couple other retro clones that I have say the same thing. And, you know, it's, to me, I'm always going, it's a shame we have to remind them, but I'm glad it's there.
Well, you have to look at it now these days that since everybody in the newer generation of gaming is like, well, you know, 5th edition is cool, and people keep saying it's harkening back to the olden days, and they want to look back to the olden days, and they're looking at these other games like The Hero's Journey, for example, or Mazes and Perils, cheap plug, that my game, and they're like, well, these are like old school, but there's like stuff missing, so putting these little disclaimers in there for those people who are like rules centric. So
right,
yeah.
A couple other things that I've noticed that stand out in this book that I really liked is, other than rule number 1, but the interior, excuse me, well laid out. The layout was done by Michael Herman.
He did a good job.
Yeah, he did some of the art. Actually, he did the front cover and of the book and everything.
Well, he did a fantastic job.
He also did the editing of the book. The layout is beautiful, good color, flows nicely.
Yeah, I have to say the editing. I don't think I really found any syntax errors or anything like that. See, I could talk.
Yeah, half in the bag, right?
You ever been in that bag? Wow.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
so, did you guys notice on page 8 the difference in the attributes in this game compared to the rest?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Like willpower.
Willpower.
And then we have appearance as opposed to charisma, and we also have luck.
Yes.
Which I would guess luck would be something kind of like I don't know, like fate or something in different games.
Now there I see a TUI influence.
Yeah, is that a TUI thing?
Well, it's if you go into the like the player's option books, I think it's skills and powers. You add those on there as an option.
Actually, I can even see it goes back further than that. Luck was an attribute in basic role playing by Chaosium.
Oh, all right.
You had that luck attribute there.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was referring to basic class and level D&D.
Oh, right. I got you.
Because like Savage Worlds has luck too. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's something. If I show that to Brian, he'd go, yeah, because Brian loves stuff like charisma and things like that, and personality.
Luck is a great stat or attribute to have if you want to have a game that's a little more theatrical, a little more cinematic in its approach.
Well, let's say luck. Some folks are just lucky for better or for worse, whether they've got a guardian angel on their shoulder or the devil at their heels. Blind fate has an impact on their lives. This is reflected in the luck attribute. Luck is important to jesters, which is a new class. It's a Gygax influence class, obviously, because I've only ever seen Gygax write it in what was it in? I'm trying to think.
Unearth Arcana.
No. At least it wasn't in the one.
Well, Adventures Dark and Deep has the Jester.
Yeah, but I know Gygax had it somewhere in one of his books. It was never actually published.
Well, maybe it was in a
Dangerous Journeys.
I think it was Dangerous Journeys had it. I know that the other one did not have it. What was the
Legendary Adventures? I think.
Yes, Legendary Adventures. I don't believe had Jester in it though.
Yeah, the only reason why I remember Dangerous Journeys is like it was on the shelf for only 2 months, and then they had to quickly pull it.
I'm really upset about that too because not that back then, but right now I was at the Recycle Books here. Glenn, you're familiar with the place here in Denton.
Oh yes,
Recycle Books. They had Dangerous Journeys right there on the shelf for $25, and I'm like, I did one of those, and I'm like, I said no, and I passed, and the next day it was gone.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I know, I should have bought it, but whatever.
I know. I did that with movies and stuff, but I was surprised to see the Acrobat and the option for the Thief Acrobat. It's like, whoa, that's going back to Unearth Arcana.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that does stand out also in here besides the class, I was going to get to that in a second, but the house rules. Everywhere there's a little blue block with house rules.
Little blue box.
I'm just going by chapter. So races, we have the standard pretty much human, dwarf, half-elf, which is a little unusual for like white too. Box, and half-orc. But it's cool to have those in there. I like those options.
Yeah, I like the whole section that you're talking about, Vince, where you have the box to the side, the house rule stuff. I mean, that's just playing into showing to this game as it's your game. You do what you want with it.
And also, there's a house rule. Like in this, you can have a race and a class, just like 1E and up. But does Rule Cyclopedia do that too, Glenn?
No, they're pretty much races class.
Yeah, he has a house rule in here on page 21 that allows the referee to do race as class if you want to do more of a classic style.
Right.
Yeah.
So I like that too. They
which is nice. They actually get to races class for stuff that doesn't covered in Basic or the Rule Cyclopedia, like half-orcs
Exactly.
are equivalent to barbarians and things like that. I'm surprised you read those boxes, Vince, because I know you hate box text.
No, I hate... Such an ass. I hate box text, reading box text in modules. Like, I hated those.
I know.
Oh, I couldn't stand that when you had to read this long page-and-a-half thing to players. It's like, I could just recap it myself.
Yeah, you know what? Longest box text ever? Isle of the Ape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Did you guys notice something also in this? That there is dice pools for each class to roll for your attributes.
Yeah.
It's not the standard 3d6, roll straight down or whatever, 4d6 drop to lowest. Each race has its own strength, 2d6 plus 6. Dexterity, 2d6 plus 1. That's how you roll for all these classes, it looks like.
And also, I noticed, like, after 3rd level, you just get a flat bonus on most of them.
On the classes. So we...
it's like, wow.
Heading over to classes now, we have the Acrobat... you said the Thief Acrobat is a house rule. We have the Barbarian, and we have the Defiler of Magic, which is kind of interesting if you read that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Barbarian variant?
Yeah. Bard,
Yes.
which we don't normally see in Basic. We see that mostly in 1st and up. Is Bard in 2nd edition, Glenn?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Bard's its own class.
Yeah, that was the major rewrite from 1st to 2nd edition because everybody wanted to play a Bard, but it was too damn hard to get there.
Yeah, it was a big pain in the butt to become a Bard in 1st edition.
Yes, it was.
We have the Cavalier, which we don't normally see. We did see that a little bit in 1st edition in the Unearthed Arcana.
Yes.
I did like the Knight.
So if you really want to play Eric...
we got a standard cleric, nothing different about that. Druid, we have druid alignment, so you don't have to be restricted to true neutral. So you get an option there, which is awesome.
But he pretty much toes the line on paladins, though.
And then we have the duelist, which I haven't seen much of the duelist in Basic, or I don't know if it was in the Basic, but I know it wasn't.
It was in 1st edition.
It was duelist? No, that was
Dragon
it was
Magazine. An NPC
Magazine.
class in Dragon Magazine.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a Dragon Magazine class. Well, I don't ever count using those as though, so...
I'm sure there's a splat book for 2e that has to... In fact, I know there is. It's in the Fighter's Handbook.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it was in there, yeah.
Yeah.
This is called Swashbuckler, I think.
Actually, it's funny because, like, there's 2 different types of swashbucklers in 2nd edition. There's the Fighter's Handbook swashbuckler, and there's the Thief's Handbook swashbuckler.
Yeah.
And each one has a little different emphasis on it. Anyway.
And they also have a pretty good house rule here called the Florentine style, which you can, with permission, the duelist can fight with a short sword or a dagger in their offhand, as long as they keep the weapon smaller in their offhand.
Right. And it doesn't look like you take like minuses for like offhand or anything.
No, it doesn't look like it at all. Fighter goes into the whole general thing about fighter, and then we have Jester, which is very interesting class.
Yes, it is. I'm still trying to figure it out.
I like the house rule, Mind of Madness.
Yeah. With the referee's position, it may be ruled the jesters are immune to any spell or effects that would cause insanity due to their minds already being freshly screwed at the time.
You know what? Another thing I liked before even the classes, rolling up what your profession is before you became that. Like you could have been a sailor or a lawyer.
Well, that was in 1E. It's just it didn't go anywhere.
Right. No one did anything with it. It's in the DMG. I like that. That helps flesh out the background of the characters. Like, because it even says in the section, it's like, nobody starts off as an adventurer. It's like you had to be something before this.
That's why I always push for like even just a tiny skill system or something, because it's like you got to have some kind of skills from your previous life.
I always use that when players, if they had that background, if they were like a sailor and they were on a ship, I would give them a bonus to roll because they had the background of being a sailor. Monk class with a couple variations. Paladin. Let's see here. And then we have Ranger.
Yeah.
Paladins get the ability to banish undead.
That's nice. It's like, what, 2 levels lower than a cleric or something?
Yeah, 2 levels lower.
I thought it was interesting that the immunity to disease is a house rule.
Well, that's not in Basic, and first 1E has it, and I don't know if 2E Paladins have the same thing, but We do have that. We do have our thief as normal, and there's some thieves can't, which is an optional rule, which is interesting because it's usually the same.
Thieves can't what?
The ability.
He did it before I did. Good thing. Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
You all suck, and he does go with the optional rule that, remember how thieves were able to decipher languages with a certain percentage in first edition. Now they gave it as a house rule here.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry James wasn't here. I wanted to ask him a question about the halfling.
He was busy this weekend.
I know, but he apparently halflings are quite the ladies' man because they got that one special ability with the wrist.
Okay.
Let me look.
Yeah, why don't you look that up?
Flick of the wrist. Okay. Sorry, I was reading something else.
Yeah, okay.
We're going to keep this as PG as possible,
yeah,
folks.
Glenn. Did you notice that he went with...
Why do you think I phrased it the way I did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, Glenn.
Did you notice that he went with wizard instead of magic user?
Yes.
Wizard.
I'm curious why he went with wizard instead of magic user.
Because he's bringing it back, man, because no one says wizard enough.
I don't know. I like magic user better.
Maybe he's down on sorcerers. I don't know.
It's totally wizard, man. Totally wizard.
Well, that was like when I released some of the stuff. Eric did a review of Mazes and Perils on the deluxe edition that's coming out in June. Someone complained. He's like, "Oh, I can't stand that people are still using magic user when we can use wizard." I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
What you want?
Then, of course, I got a complaint about the fact that I use Fighting Man, and this day and age, that's kind of sexist, but whatever.
Oh God, who said that?
We won't get into names.
Yeah, I'll go down to my grave defending Oriental Adventures too.
Yeah, I will too.
Me too.
Anyway, we got our basic equipment. There's nothing kind of really different about basic. It's laid out really nice with, of course, Elmore art throughout the book, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is very nice.
It goes into great detail about each weapon, which is nice because a lot of books do not go into any detail about weapons.
Okay, I got one thing about the weapons
What's that?
Didn't quite like was that it's all D6 damage. This is just a pet peeve for me. I much preferred varied dice.
Well, yeah, there is... Surprisingly, there is no house rule for that.
Yeah. I thought there would be, but... No, he's just going like D6 for or a number of D6
that's
dice.
What I did,
he's reaching all the way back to
Holmes, yeah.
Yeah.
I did that with Mazes and Perils. I did everything from my book, all was D6 or 2D6 or whatever, but I also put a variation rule towards the end in the GM section saying if you'd like to use different dice for the weapons, here's the following tables. Because that was one of the things that a lot of the editors and readers were like, can't we have varied dice? I'm like, okay, well, I'll just throw it in there.
Well,
I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't do it here.
Yeah.
Well, I was accepting of the D6 because, unlike Holmes, it was not everything was 1D6. You got some that are 2D6. You got some that are 1D6 plus 1.
Yeah.
So he's throwing variations in there. He's just using one die.
Yeah.
I know. Nick wants his varied thing.
He has to justify.
I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, you're absolutely right, Glenn. He's got some variants in there with the D6, but I don't know. It's just one of those things. I mean, it's not like a deal breaker.
No, absolutely not. And
I like the way he keep one of my favorite things from Swords and Wizardry: one saving throw.
Well, yeah, that's just Sword and Wizardry is based on that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that I've always liked. That's one of the mechanics I've always liked. One saving throw with variations per class.
Well, that's what they kind of did going in with 5th edition. They kind of reduced everything down to like 3 basic saving throws or 4 basic saving throws as opposed to like all these different ones.
Right.
So then we get into a chapter of playing the game, talking about how to play the game. One thing I did like is that James took the time to give like a non-combat experience point reward chart for those like extra bonuses.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
I like that. That we had Hackmaster has that.
I've been doing this all along. Well, not exactly how James has it, but I do things like this, like vote for the MVP of the group, the one character of the group that's learned something this week, things like that. But he has like 100 XP reward. These are optional, of course, if you want to use them or not. Player accurately roleplays their characters, race and class. You can give them an extra 100 for roleplay. Player character attempts a potentially life-threatening act of heroism, 250 experience points. Okay. Player can perform a surprising and clever deed that helps the party or another ally, 150. Player encourages other players to get involved, roleplay, contribute to the game. 100 XP. Making everyone at the table laugh out loud. 75. I'm guessing Glenn's going to be knocking these up all night long. Huh?
I like the way they put it in there. You got to remind people these are benchmarks.
Yeah. And I like the fact that he took the time to say player takes the role of treasure keeper optional. You get a reward for that. So, hey, Glenn, this adventure I want you, if you don't mind, keep a record of all the gold and things that they find. And you're like, okay, and then you get 50 experience points. Oh, okay, I'll take that.
Well, how much do I get for being the mapper, too?
Well, you would initiative tracker, someone that keeps track of initiative, 50 experience. That's a big deal for someone to do that for the GM. So
yeah.
I never thought that would be a big deal until I started GMing regularly.
Yeah.
It's I
such
never
a
realized it
pain
was
to
so
track
pain.
it.
I'm thinking about the Great Days of Champions where you had the phase chart. But here it's like, and you go. No, I didn't go. Oh, yeah, okay, you go first. I didn't know I was going to do that. I thought I'd say, oh, yeah, I can keep it in my head, no problem. Well,
we were doing, like, in our game yesterday, we had like 8 people playing the game, even though half the party died, but we had 8 people playing the game, and it was kind of dragging along. So the DM looks at us and he says, is there anything we could do to make things speed up? And I said to him, why don't we try group initiative, like in 1E? And he's like, okay. I said, so you start at the player to the left, he rolls versus you, and then whichever side wins goes. And then the next time around, that next player after that will roll versus the GM, and then so on and so forth. And then one player was like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose of the feat, if I have this and this and this and I'm set up for this and this to win all the time. And I said, essentially, you're still going to be going first no matter what. I mean, just think about if the side wins. And so we compromised and we decided to add, every time our side rolled, we'll just add his bonuses to the die because he was complaining and crying too much. So
right. When I run D&D or CNC or whatever, it's always like one roll for all the monsters, one roll for all the players, and when the players go, I just go around the table left to right.
Yeah, but sometimes people I understand left to right around the table, which I normally do, but then I found that the same people were always going first, and then the people who don't act kind of just sit there like, ooh. So I moved it along. My
group is really good at saying, I want to hold my action until X goes.
Ah, okay, good.
And so it's perfectly fine. If you don't go by the end of the round, then you lose the action. Sorry, buddy,
He also gives some more...
Next round.
He gives some more talk about combat and optional house rule of having people actually do the rolls for everybody, which is interesting. Because we all know... First edition, no one was supposed to roll but the DM, so...
Yeah. That's crazy. I don't want that added burden.
Yeah, right? A bunch of house rules on critical hits, heroic damage. Interesting there. And then we have our oh-so-familiar chart that Glenn probably would love to see on page 70, the 2-hit roll THAC0 chart. THAC0's hammer.
Well, and I also like they kept the Swords and Wizards thing of either ascending or descending armor class, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, I'm wondering if is that a stipulation for Sword and Wizardry to keep that in there?
Yes.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yes, that's a Swords and Wizardry thing. If you see, watch anything they publish, like Frog God publishes, or they publish, this is Frog God. Frog God publishes, all their monsters and stuff will have both ascending and descending armor class in their stats.
Oh, okay, that must be
which is great because you use it with any edition.
I guess that's part of their OGL agreement or something.
Yeah, but I think it's great because it makes it so much more versatile. Everything's so much more versatile then. I've used the Tome of Horrors Complete in a 2nd edition games. I've used it in basic games. I've used it in Labyrinth Lord. I love it.
Awesome. We got some more combat house rules, how to play the game. It goes through a whole about 3 pages of how to play the game, example of role-playing tips and everything.
Right.
Then we head over to spells and magic. Pretty much everything is similar to
what did you say they call magic missile in this?
Arcane Dart.
Okay.
This is a first level wizard spell, instantaneous. The spell causes a bolt of sizzling magical energy to launch forth from the caster's hand to strike a target. It inflicts 1d6 plus 1 points of damage. A second dart is produced by the caster of 5th level or higher. And 3 darts are 9 or higher. So it's a little different, but it's basically Magic Missile right there.
Yeah, I could quibble on the name because to me, like, Magic Missile is like, that sounds powerful. Arcane Dart is like, ooh, I'm hurting you. Ooh, I'm flicking at you.
And I'm curious, maybe James did that to just be different. Like I said, I don't blame him for doing it. He just wants his game to stand out. Oh no, I'm not blaming him at all. I just thought it was just interesting that he had that instead. I looked and there's no Magic Missile, so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
Basically, I didn't really see any other spells in here that were really different. I mean, there's like some spells are worded slightly different, but it's close enough to the original that they're.
You'll get the idea. Yeah.
Yeah, you get the idea of it.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't see anything else here, and then we go to running the game, which is basically the DM referee point of it, which a lot of books don't go into advice about that. How to bring the party together, designing adventures.
Yeah, I like the part about themes when if somebody picks this game up, Hero's Journey, the themes section is really, really good in my opinion.
Yes,
because it gives you some ideas about, the exploration of the unknown. You got what are heroic characters, the dangers they may face, and the whole thing about what he talks about wonder. So you want to keep it kind of fresh, you want to keep some mystery.
You don't see that in a lot of games.
No.
They'll just go, oh, here's how to run it.
Developing campaigns, and then we have our section on the monsters, which I didn't see anything in here that was mainly different.
No, I didn't either.
It does have some great monsters in here. Did we have... I'm assuming they don't have the copyrighted ones in here.
No.
Probably under another name.
Yeah. Death Knight is in here, though.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Gotta have a Death Knight. Hey, is the Crypt thing in there? Never mind. But
where would you find that, Glenn?
What?
Where would you find that?
There is something called the Brain Lord.
Oh, what would that be?
Oh, what? Yeah, what would that
These
be?
bizarre humanoids appear to have the head of an octopus and their bodies are covered in fish-like scales.
Oh, no. An illithid by any other name.
That's
still
right.
Smells like.
Now you got to give 10 cents to Watsy. You just said that.
Oh,
damn.
The lawyers will be contacting you, Glenn.
Yes.
Wait.
Because of mind flares? Oh, now it's 20 cents. Yeah.
I think the higher-ups will be contacting Glenn, Nick.
I know.
Our HR department is going to start blinging him out.
No,
this is why I'm hiding at North Texas.
One thing I thought that was kind of interesting and I liked was the section on demons.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now.
Yeah, so demons are creatures of lower planes of existence, but they are occasionally encountered in places where they've been enslaved to serve as guardians by powerful wizards or chaotic clerics. And the more intelligent varieties might also be interrupted while carrying out plots of their own. There is no meaningful game distinction between demons and devils.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting because it sounds like, as far as when we're talking about the other planes of existence, there's just heaven and hell.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of digging that. It's not complicated. And for I've always wanted someone to do a game system where they just flat out, okay, there's heaven, there's hell. Don't worry about everything in between.
But I guess kind of if you do the heaven and hell thing, you got to kind of stick with just God and devil.
Well, I don't know if you have to.
Maybe. I guess you can go with gods. There's going to be multiple gods running heaven.
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Oh, just call them immortals like in Basic.
That too.
But at least the succubus made its her way in.
Yes.
No picture, though. Darn.
Oh.
No comment, though. Darn.
We have dark elves.
I had some idea of how she made her way in, but I'm not going to say.
Whoa.
Hey.
I didn't say.
We do have our infamous Invisible Stalker.
Yay.
Which was the best was the best looking drawing in second edition. I have to add with that.
Yeah, it is.
That was funny.
A blank box. I always laughed at that when I saw it. First edition actually has somewhat of a picture. Second edition, just a blank box.
Yeah.
Pretty much that is.
You got your standard dragons in there.
Yeah.
Giants too.
Sea serpents. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Shambling mound.
I didn't look under. Do they have like humans or men listed on the monster section?
They do have humans, and it breaks down like the bandits and things like that.
I was wondering. Every version of RetroClone has their different breakdown of humans. I've seen pirates. I've seen bandits. I've seen everyone is different.
Yeah. Now he also. I think this kind of harkens back to basic D&D, how he did golems. You have flesh, glass, iron, and stone and wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a throwback.
Mm-hmm.
I love that picture of what is it, the iron golem he has there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I almost called it a steam golem.
Oh
yeah. Looks like a dwarf.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that picture too. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it is cool.
Look at that cod piece. Whoa.
Whoa, Nick.
I said cod piece.
Oh, okay. There is some rules here.
You
also.
say I'm getting risky.
No, Glenn, you're risque. Page 161 after the monsters goes into how to make tougher monsters and monster levels. It even goes into creating monsters, how to design your own monsters, and a wandering monster chart. So we got everything here that we need to play.
Yeah, tougher monsters.
Now,
level.
the last chapter is, I believe, let me just
magic items.
Yeah, magic items. I want to make sure there wasn't anything after it. Now, notice there was crafting magical items and there's myth points. Did anyone take notice of that on page 165?
Yeah.
I saw the myth points thing, but I was looking for it in the rest of the
I like
section.
the myth point idea.
That's really kind of all it really talks about. Magical weapons, armor, and shields gain power not by being forged, but by being part of a hero's legendary story. They accumulate myth points based on the wielder's actions, which eventually lead to permanent enhancement. The details of how these myth points are earned and what effects they have are detailed below. Player characters encountering magical weapons, armors, and shields will be unaware of that current item's number of myth points. That is left up to the referee based on the item's current level, power, and nature in the campaign. So it doesn't... That's kind of really about it. It doesn't really say anything more about that.
It's almost is Gygaxian vagueness.
Yeah. I like the idea about it, where the magic item you get, the more experience you get as a character, that magic item, we'll just say a magical sword, it gains power because it's attached to you in some fashion.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Makes sense.
So we basically just have our basic breakdown of all the magical weapons you can possibly think of, and there's a random chart. Then there's some named ones, and then we get into some cursed items, which a lot of books don't.
Oh, wait a minute! Now some of the back up a little bit.
What?
Some of the named items I really liked.
Okay.
Really?
Like the magic weapons. Like where was it? Let me get to it here. Talk amongst yourselves.
So, chili peppers were my get.
I remember that old joke, Glenn.
That was a joke?
That was an old one-liner. That was an old one-liner from Save or Die.
That's right.
Like, yeah, the Club of the Treant.
Yeah.
I love this thing. This simple cudgel normally functions like a club +2, but upon command, it can transform into a 7-hit dice treant for one turn.
I like that.
I love that. That is so cool. I might have to let that. The flail of threshing sounds pretty cool too.
Like, don't let me let the Treebeard out.
That's right.
What is this one? What about
Frozen
this one?
Needle. That's
Nick,
a dagger +2. That's ice cold to the touch.
This one should remind you of a weapon here, the Warhammer of Jotun. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Normally, this weapon functions as a Warhammer +2, but when it strikes a giant, that creature must make a saving throw or be instantly slain.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did that sound like a sword of giant slaying?
Yes, it does. Did you notice under the special magic armors, You could be Captain America. There's a throwing shield.
Yes, I saw that throwing shield, Captain America.
Captain America. I love that though. I thought that was pretty cool. There's some like the ice mail. This set of perpetually frozen chainmail armor protects its wearer from all forms of fire damage, both magical and mundane, when it's worn. Fireballs, sizzles. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And
I got something to steal magic items from now.
Yeah, I know. A fireball doesn't do nothing. It doesn't do anything. The fireballs sizzle and are snuffed out around him, and lava cools and hardens under his
steam.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm like, that's pretty sweet.
And then we actually have the OGL on the back for Sword and Wizardry and the standard OGL.
For legal purposes.
196 pages of wonderfulness, but no character sheet. James.
Yeah.
You can probably use a regular S&W character sheet if you want additions.
No, you can't.
It's half a sword. No character sheet.
No, we're busting chops. I'm sure he has one on his website, which I forgot to look for, but...
Yeah. But
you would think it would be in the book, at least, like a link to it or something. That's the only complaint I have, James. It's a perfect book, but no character sheet? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you should ask me or Corey to do it. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. And we're paying what for this on like drive-through?
A lot of money.
Okay, so nobody will ever play it, right? I can't afford it.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
$14.99.
Let's see. They actually have a compatibility license on here too. I'm looking at.
Oh yeah. So if you want to make stuff for it.
Wow! Look at that. The Hero's Journey is now listed as pay what you want.
Oh,
really?
Sweet.
You get this complete book, 197 pages. Suggested average contribution is $3.74.
Or I wear out my zero.
Wow.
Or zero it out, and it's all yours for free.
Yeah.
I will include a link to that in the show notes, so all the folks can go download it. But I suggest you giving James a little bit of money after you review it yourself.
Yeah, throw some coin his way.
Hard work into his supplements and his books. So, okay, so swords. Starting with Nick, how many swords out of 5?
Oh my gosh, 4.5 out of 5. For sure.
4.5 out of 5. Gotcha. Glenn.
Yeah, I'm docking a half for no character sheet.
Oh, that's bad.
I follow him. No character sheet. But everything else, it's golden.
In fact, on Drive-Thru RPG, one of the reviews that says, "Is there a character sheet for this game somewhere?"
Oh, does that? It actually says that? Oh, wow.
Yes, under the reviews for the discussions.
Oh yeah. Is there? I'm surprised.
Is that a challenge? I can make a character sheet.
Yeah, wow. I'm surprised.
What about you, Vince? What do you rate it?
I think it's perfect 5. I mean, I don't care about the character sheet. I can just put it on an index card for all that really matters. I was just busting James's chops, and he's going to laugh at that. But, no, I think 5 out of 5. Solid book. Solid game.
What? Why would you pick this over... I mean, there's tons of free RPGs out there, and free versions of paid RPGs. Why would you pick this?
Why would I pick this? I like the way it's written. I like the way it's laid out. I like the way it's presented. And if I like Sword and Wizardry White Box, compatible with Sword and
it's
Wizardry
very
White Box.
clear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is big points for me. Clarity and organization.
I also think this is a great game for if you want to introduce somebody to the RPGs and they're familiar with Lord of the Rings, or a lot of theatrical stuff out there. This is a good gateway for that.
Yeah, if your dog ate your copy of Mazes and Perils, give him this.
Oh, Glenn.
Oh.
Well, okay. just punish the dog later, okay?
Could Glenn be any more ruder, folks? Write in rfistaff@gmail.com. Find out what Glenn has to say about that. Give us your...
Vince, you wanted him on the show.
Yeah, I know.
I'm lovable, remember?
Sure.
Just like a cactus. Give him a big hug.
Oh. Download The Hero's Journey by James Spawn. Give us your review, 570-865-4210, rfistaff@gmail.com, and let's head into our last segment of the night.
Okay.
Sage advice.
So we got some sage advice this week.
Yes, we do.
And we have one voicemail, and we actually have a really nice email that I'm going to take a look at in a second. But I'm going to start with the voicemail real quick.
All right.
All right.
Hi, RFI folks. This is DM Kojo. Hey, this voicemail is in response to the email you read on 177 from Samwise about the business he runs, running games mostly for kids and charging pay-to-play. As many listeners might know, I teach middle school and I run a RPG club. And although I don't charge to play, I did recently run a GoFundMe campaign to get some resources for the club because the school had none to pay for it. And I don't begrudge these guys if they are running a business and they're able to make a profit and everything. Although on the other hand, I do feel a little bad about it in that, I ask for anything in return for my running the club because, I'm happy to provide that service on my lunch period and my planning period, running games for kids, what's now up to 5 days a week. And there's so many other adults I know who give up their time to help kids, whether it's as a coach of a little league team or as a Cub Scout leader or things like that. And sometimes it's adults who don't even have necessarily a kid on the team or in the program. They just want to help out. And those, I think, are good examples for our children to see. Adults are willing to spend their time and help kids and help them have a good time and learn from that. So that's why I do it. It's not about getting money. My campaign on GoFundMe was not about getting paid. It was about getting resources for the club so that kids can get exposed to more types of games and hopefully expand the club and grow it to more kids. So I guess more good luck to Samwise if they can make a business out of this. I guess that's just not my cup of tea, but we could both argue both sides, I guess. So keep up the great work, guys. Love the show as always. Take care. Bye.
All right, that was from Ian Kojo.
Boy. Yeah, I remember seeing his GoFundMe on there.
Yeah, he has Tankar put something up on his blog about how he was requesting donations for now, and let me see if I could find that real quick. But donations for his little after-school club thing going on, which I think is a great program. And I'm on his friends with him on Facebook, and he had a picture up the other day. Someone sent him like almost a 10-pound bag of dice.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like a huge. He's like the biggest bag. He listed it as was the biggest bag of dice I've ever seen in my life.
Wait a minute, hold on. Christopher Walken said, "Wow, it's out of control. Bag of dice, ginormous."
I had to laugh because when Tankar put the blog post up, he said part-time co-host. Does he call in that much over there, Glenn?
What?
Does he call in that often to your show?
Who, Kojo?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting ready to name him as an unofficial fifth.
Is he?
Let's say with Saber Down. He just likes calling into shows. That's okay, and we've had him on several times. He's good for a fill-in host if one of us can't make it, and we need for. But paying to play, I'm really a mixed feelings about that. I participate in a gamer chat sometimes during the week called Giant Dragons on G+.
Yeah.
And there's this one guy that comes on there all the time. Maybe the same guy. I don't know if he is, but he's always like his business is running games. And he always talks about how, and the question always comes, why should we pick you for pay for play when we got, and he's always like, well, I bring quality to the table. I bring this thing to the table. He's constantly doing the pitch. And it's like the way he talks, it makes me less want to use him.
Yeah, I can't stand that when they're like, well, I bring quality. Well, what about...
What does that mean about the rest of us?
Yeah. What about me, who sits there a couple hours a week? I don't bring quality. What about Glenn? He sits there and spends hours on his games. He doesn't have quality?
Yeah. It's just, he's always dressing it from the business perspective. This is what you get when you hire me. and it's always hire me. You know, I charge X amount of, I make sure there's adventures in, and I've researched, and da-da-da-da-da, and it's like, you know, we're going to have to justify this. I mean, I can see somebody doing it once, you know, but if they're not having fun, you're not going to get hired again.
Yeah.
I'm going to include a link in the show notes for his GoFundMe, DM Kojo's, his school RPG club.
Yeah, I see that.
He's still a little bit sly of his $1,500 he was asking for, and we got about, right now, 18 days as of this recording. So when this drops, it'll be 15 days left to donate. And if you look at the donations, someone donated $250 in one shot.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean $10, $20.
That picture you put up on Skype there, is that part of that humongous bag of dice?
No, I think that's just this would actually look like a big giant, like 5-gallon bag that you can buy in the to like put stuff in the freezer and stuff like that. It was full of dice. I couldn't believe it. That was huge.
Oh man. So what do you guys think of Paper Play?
Yeah, we're not going to get into that right now. We've spent 2 shows on that.
Well, okay, I thought that was the whole point. Okay,
no.
But if you guys already did it, I'm not gonna, That's
no. We have.
I gave you my take on it, and there you go.
That's fine. Anyway, if you'd like to send in your comments, 570-865-4210, and we do have one email that talks about the same situation again. Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, we have an email here from Goblin's Henchman, and Goblin's Henchman goes into, Dear RFI staffers, just finished listening to your most recent podcast review of the Fungal Forest. Had a look on the RPG now and looks like an excellent product. And yeah, it is. It's really cool. However, I'm really writing in about the segment at the end of the show. I think you gave Samwise of DMs Incorporated a bit of a hard time. I think it's probably because of your passion for the game. That said, I broadly agree with you. I've been thinking about why the whole concept of paying a DM to DM irks. No one begrudges paying money for the creators of Fungal Forest, or even to you for your Patreon funding. Perhaps it's because it is all optional. Maybe if DMs Incorporated offered a pay-what-you-want service, we'd all think better of it. We know that's not happening. And he put this in bold next, and I think that the ultimate key point here is, I think the real problem is that gaming is social, not commercial.
Well, yeah.
Very profound statement.
Yes.
I feel the same way about paying someone to DM as I would about paying someone to be my friend. A paid quote-unquote friend could laugh at my jokes, plate my back hair, tell me I'm good-looking, and generally horse around with me. But in the end, it would be fake. If the DMs give you a nice magic item, it is because he's got a good tip last week. Would Samwise of DMs Incorporated risk black leafing the whole nursery group by TPKing the adventuring party, no matter how stupidly they acted?
I like that nursery group.
Black leafing the whole party.
Yeah.
A DM is the most important person in the gaming group, but most important, I mean pivotal. If the DM's heart is on the buck and not on the buckler, then the whole game would feel a bit bankrupt. The kids in the paid DM groups might enjoy themselves, but in the end, they're getting cheated out of the real and authentic experience. Matt is right. If there were babysitting or just so happened to be gaming on the side, then the gaming would be optional. Their heart would be in it, the thing they enjoy doing, and not just what they're paid to do. I say that's my 2 pennies worth, but just pay what you want. Goblin's Henchman.
Yeah.
Very well put.
Yes, very well put.
Yeah.
And I started to think a couple of things while I was reading that, and one thing is I understand the concept and why they think. First of all, they're thinking of a DM as an entertainer. Now, I've been doing stage acting since high school. I don't get paid for it. I know other people do. I would like to work up to that. But DMing isn't the same thing. It's just they're trying to, and also it's also these people are trying to, it's like somebody, well, I can't write or draw. I want to get into the gaming industry somehow. This is the way I'll do it. and it never works.
Yeah, it seems like that way to me too. You hit the nail on the head there, Glenn. Yeah, it just seems like a backdoor way of trying to get into the gaming community. But
the gaming industry, yeah.
Yeah, the gaming industry, yeah.
I guess, that kind of thing just doesn't work. Okay, how about if I start one? I'll do a pay-per-play. I'm the DM. I'll just put the disclaimer, entertainment not guaranteed. How about that?
Oh, that'll work.
Sure.
TPKs, there might be TPKs. You might be too old to run, you have to be this high to go in the dungeon. But, yeah, you have to be this high to avoid TPKs. But anyway, okay, I'm done.
You sure? Glenn.
That was those were two I wish we could get that kind of quality emails on our show. Sorry, Brian, it's not what it sounds like, but...
Interesting, though, while you guys were doing it, I was just quickly trying to grab something for James's game, and I found an alternate cover for the game, actually, if you want to put it up here. I wonder if... Check that link out. Another cover. I wonder if that was the original cover of the game.
Oh, wow.
That is pretty.
Yeah, because it's different fonting and different layout and everything. It's really. I'm going to put that in the show notes just as the cover because it looks really cool.
Yeah, it reminds me of the first of Mazes and Perils cover.
It does?
Yep.
Oh.
Remember it had that kick-ass logo name on it and that I designed and wasn't used later, but I love it. Oh, God, he did a good job on this. I mean, with the guy with the book and the staff and everything.
Yes.
I
wonder who did that.
I don't know.
I don't know that. It's from a blog post that links back to Tankar's blog, so I'm wondering maybe that was the
maybe
original...
Tankar knows.
Oh, that must have been the original cover for it.
Yeah.
It's a cool cover, but I'm glad he went with the one he went with right now.
Yeah, either one would be great. I mean, honestly, either one, you could have one for the front and the back.
Yeah.
That would be really cool to kind of mix it up like that.
If this was POD, you could choose your cover. I'm just saying.
There you go. Thinking outside the box, Glenn.
I saw a guy who got the Rule Cyclopedia printed from Lulu and did an alternate cover, and it looked gorgeous.
Really?
Yeah. You can do that with Lulu, so... Which is awesome.
Really?
Yeah, you can pretty much upload whatever you want as long as you keep it private and to yourself.
So if I wanted a picture of J. Edgar Hoover on my cover, I could have that there.
Yeah, you could. I mean, it's basically like you're going to the local printing shop and saying, here's my book, I want this cover on it and this, and they'll just go, okay, print it up and give it to you.
But I ended up with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
That's if you want that, Nick. It could be a picture of you on the front cover for all that matters.
No, I wouldn't want that. No.
No,
I know. I did that for my GM screen for Gangbusters because I use the customizable ones. Mm-hmm. So I was doing the inserts, and I can't do color here, so I have to go like Office Depot.
Yeah.
And the assistant manager was doing it, and it was two pictures, obviously from Holloway. And the guy says, "Oh, is this your artwork?" And yeah, not anymore. I wish I could do stuff like that again. Wink, wink. Just print the damn thing. Thank you.
Wink, nudge, nudge, say no more, say no more.
Pretty much. Yeah, it can get tricky, but it's a beautiful cover. It really is.
We did get a couple questions about some things. I'm not going to read them exactly. Actually, Freddie wrote in and asked about what the volume number scheme is on our podcast.
Well, what if we decided? The fourth host.
Yeah, so basically
the volume. We get a new fourth host.
Yeah. It's volume. Every time we have a new volume is when we either lose or gain a fourth host. So
yeah.
So when I start being on here regular, you get a new volume, or if somebody else drops, you get a new volume.
No, the general three is Mick, myself, and Matt. Anybody else that's added on as a permanent fourth host, we've had Jason, Chad, Will. No, it was Jason, Will, Chad. Then we had Sal.
Okay. So that's four.
So all those were different volumes.
Yeah, and then now that we have nobody, we just went to another volume again.
We're on the
sixth volume.
It's like Spinal Tap. I've always said.
Yeah.
Their drummer burst into flames. Whatever. You're the fourth guy in this. Something's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
You're going to burst into flames, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're just keeping that fourth seat open as just an open until either Sal decides he can come back again or we just don't fill it. So.
Or I can actually come on here.
Anyway.
I don't know.
Yeah,
what do you think, Vince?
Whatever.
No, Glenn, you're fired.
Whatever. I've been. You know how many times I've been fired and hired around here? More than
like a revolving door.
Glenn is like the WGP.
I feel like Billy Martin. I'm the Billy Martin of Wild Games Productions.
I was going to say that, or you're the Community Bicycle.
Oh, God. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, by the way, let me plug while I'm on here, let me plug one more thing in a way to get Vince to listen. My video series, Old Man Grognard.
Oh, yes.
Look for the episode Ditch the Box. That'll talk all about how you can do box text and not put people to sleep.
And that's on YouTube?
That's on YouTube.
Old Man Grognard. I'm going it now.
Old Man Grognard.
Old Man, O-L-E?
I'll put a link in the show notes.
Yeah, O-apostrophe. But, yeah, I did one on box text just for you, Vince.
Oh, did you even talk about me, too, and try to make fun of me like you normally do?
No, I just, it's like, this one's for Vince. I'm just going to do it and put it out there, and he'll thank me for it.
There you are.
Someday. But I wanted to address that anyway. I mean, I just did an episode about dice. It took me like 69 episodes before I got around to talking about dice. So, anyway.
Well, lucky you.
Lucky me, yeah.
Look at you over there on YouTube.
How about that? You see that?
Wearing the fedora.
Ain't that pretty?
So go ahead and check out Glenn's video show, and I'll throw a link of that as well. If you have any comments or concerns, you can write us.
Everything goes great, we may be doing an episode from North Texas RPG Con.
Sweet.
We did get an email in also from an anonymous person because it came from an unknown email address, but it was someone saying to the effect of he is happy that we do not include personal views or whatever life views inside of our podcast, unlike some other podcasts on the network. Not sure who he's referencing or what was said on other shows in this network, but I assure you this podcast, we will not do that ever, and we never have. And as Nick said, one show, the big two that you never talk about on this show is politics and religion.
And the third one, The Great Pumpkin.
Nick.
Well, you personal views. You know what I think about this guy? Never mind.
Yeah, not that. No. Yeah, we keep those out of the show. And anonymous email at email.com. We thank you for your email.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
So we're going to say that's the end of the show. So keep it original. And good night, everybody.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Podcast is a production of Wild Games Productions in association with D20Radio.com. You can visit us at rfipodcast.com or contact us on our forums at osrgaming.org or even by calling us at 570-865-4210. This podcast is produced for entertainment purposes only. All other uses are prohibited. And remember, if your magic missile spell doesn't automatically hit, you're playing the wrong edition. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Roll for Initiative.